Good morning children. Welcome to Narayana live classes. Today we are going to discuss about habitat, which is from the 6th class, dated on 8th July. In this assignment, as we are going to discuss, first question, why do the different organisms live in different regions of the pond? Why do the different organisms live in different regions of the pond? So, different organisms live in the different regions of the pond. There are here, as we can see, the different regions, the surface region, mid region and the bottom region and the sides of that pond margin. Here, as we need to, different regions are having that different organisms according to their food, air, light availability, the other factors. Because of the organisms, you should get that light, food, air, all these factors are responsible for the surviving of that organisms. So, what are the different regions, as we can discuss? The surface, midwater, bottom and the sides also. So, as we can see that different organisms, why it is? Because of presence of different amounts of air, light, food, etc. are the reasons for the different organisms present in the different regions of the pond. The next question, as we are going to discuss, which animals and plants do you think would you live in the surface of the pond? Which animals and plants do you think would live on the surface of pond? So, what is the question? Which animals and plants do you think would live on the surface of the pond? So, here as we find many organisms, snail, whirling beetle and larvae of mayfly, dragonfly, as we can see on the surface of the pond. What are the organisms? Snail, whirling beetle, pond skater, and many larvae of dragonfly and mayfly. These are the insects, larvae, we can see that on the surface of the pond region. Okay, the next question, as we are going to discuss, the third question we are going to discuss, which animals and plants, as do you think, would live in the mid-water? The third question, which animals and plants do you think would live in mid-water? So, what is the question here? Which animals and plants do you think would live in the mid-water? So midwater, as we can see that great water boatman and leeches and larvae of many insects and fishes also which will be swim in this region. So the first as we can see that in the midwater especially great water boatman, and the next one leeches, mosquito larvae, and especially in this region we can see that fishes, where these fishes swim in this region. The next question we are going to discuss, the fourth question here, which animals and plants do you think would you live in the pond margin? So the first here we have discussed about the surface and the midwater. Now we are going to discuss about the pond margins. Pond margin. So at this if you are imagine this as a says a pond, we can see this the margin region. This margin region, what are the plants and animals, as we can see that here. What is the question? Which animals and the plants do you think would live in the pond margin? Several grasses and frogs. We can see that grasses, frogs and crabs, and especially this region, as we can see that many which are whatever the animals which will be fishes usually lays the eggs in this region. So fishes, especially fishes lays eggs in this margin region. So as we can find that grasses, frogs and crabs, many animals, as we can see that at the pond margin region, especially the fishes which will be lays the eggs in this region. Then comes to that of the next question as we are going to discuss. So the fifth question we are going to discuss, which animals and plants do you think would live in bottom of the pond? Bottom of the pond. So what are the animals, as we can see that plants and animals. So the plants like hydrilla and the animals like mussels and the flatworms and maggots of larvae. As we can see that here, hydrilla, which is the plants, we can see at the bottom of the pond, and the mussels and the flatworms and maggots of larvae of different insects, we can see that at the bottom of the pond region. So there are the phases which is according to the different regions, the organisms availability of the food, air, water and light, availability of the light, according to that the organisms will survive in that particular pond margin. Thank you. Hope you understand this habitat assignment.